Look at whatever's in your hand right now. If it's a pen, a man who fled Europe made that possible. If it's a phone, more than one person on this list helped build it. That teddy bear on a kid's bed? Same story. You move through your whole day surrounded by things somebody had to dream up first. And a surprising number of them trace back to Jewish inventors. A lot of them immigrants and refugees. Most of them people you've never heard of. 10 of them. 10 ordinary things you'd never guess share the same unlikely origin. A few genuinely reshaped the world. One of them is a set of wind-up, chattering teeth. We're getting to those too. Number 1, the teddy bear. Start with the softest one. That teddy bear, the default gift for every newborn on Earth, began with a Brooklyn candy shop owner named Morris McTom and his wife, Rose. In 1902, President Teddy Roosevelt was on a hunting trip and, the story goes, refused to shoot a bear that had been cornered and tied up, and said it would not be sporting. A newspaper cartoon turned the moment into a national sensation. The McToms saw it, and Rose sewed a little stuffed bear for their shop window with a sign that read Teddy's Bear. It sold out, so they made more. And more. That candy shop grew into one of the biggest toy companies in America. Every teddy bear ever hugged, 100+ years of them, traces back to a couple in Brooklyn and a president who would not take the shot. Number 2, the ballpoint pen. Now, the thing you write with. The modern ballpoint pen, the one you've clicked 1,000 times, came from a Hungarian Jewish journalist named Laszlo Biro. He was a newspaper editor, endlessly frustrated by fountain pens. The ink smudged, took forever to dry, and soaked the page. Then he noticed something. The ink used to print the newspaper dried almost instantly. Why couldn't a pen do that? Working with his chemist brother, he built a new kind of tip, a tiny rolling ball that fed thick, fast-drying ink onto the page. He patented it in the 1930s, then fled Europe as the war closed in and rebuilt his life an ocean away. And here's the tell. In much of the world, people don't even call it a ballpoint, they call it a biro. His name is the word. You've been writing with him your whole life. Number 3, the chattering teeth. Okay, the one I promised. Those wind-up chattering teeth, the joke shop classic that clacks its way across a table, are the work of a Jewish toy inventor named Eddie Goldfarb. Back in the 1940s, he saw an ad for a little holder to store your dentures overnight. And instead of thinking handy, his brain went somewhere much better. What if the teeth came alive, chomping and sputtering across the floor? He built exactly that, a wind-up pair of grinning chompers, and it became one of the most famous gag toys ever made. Goldfarb didn't stop there. He spent his whole life inventing toys, hundreds of them, right into old age. It's not a world-changing invention, exactly, but every kid who's ever cackled at a set of walking teeth owes him one. Number 4, the instant camera. Long before phones did it automatically, one man made a photo you could hold 60 seconds after taking it. That was Edwin Land, the Jewish-American genius behind Polaroid. In the 1940s, on a family trip, his young daughter asked why she could not see the picture he had just snapped right now. Most people would have explained how film works. Land went home and spent years actually solving it. In 1947, he unveiled a camera that developed its own photo in about a minute. No darkroom, no waiting, no lab. Pure magic in your hands. He ended up with more than 500 patents, and a young Steve Jobs later called him one of his personal heroes and a model for Apple. Every instant print, every shake-it Polaroid moment, that's a father who could not tell his kid no. Number 5, the candy in your junk drawer. Peek in the American candy aisle, and you're looking at the legacy of Sam Bourne, a Jewish immigrant who arrived from Eastern Europe and went absolutely wild on sweets. He was a tinkerer. He's credited with the technology behind chocolate sprinkles, the jimmies on your ice cream, and the hard chocolate shell on a certain famous ice cream bar. He even built a machine that mechanically stuck the sticks into lollipops and got handed the keys to the city of San Francisco for it. Then he named his company Just Born because everything came out so fresh. That company? It still makes Mike and Ike, hot tamales, and those neon marshmallow peeps that appear every spring. A huge slice of American candy nostalgia leads back to one immigrant with a very sweet tooth. Number 6, the word processor. Everything you type on a screen, every doc, every email, sits on a foundation one woman quietly built. Her name was Evelyn Berezin, daughter of Russian Jewish immigrants born in New York. In an era when computers filled entire rooms and programmer was assumed to be a man's job, she designed the first true word processor, a machine that let you write, edit, delete, and rearrange text before printing, instead of retyping a whole page over one mistake. She'd already built one of the first computerized airline reservation systems, handling dozens of cities without failing for over a decade. She basically invented the ancestor of the blank document you're going to type in later today, and almost nobody knows her name. In America, the famous tech founders are household words. The woman who made writing on a screen possible mostly isn't. Let's fix that a little. Number 7, the cell phone call. The phone in your pocket has a birthday and a father. On a New York sidewalk in 1973, an engineer named Martin Cooper, son of Ukrainian Jewish immigrants, pulled out a brick-sized device and made the first ever phone call from a handheld cell phone. And he had a sense of humor about it. For that very first call, he reportedly dialed up his top rival at a competing company, just to tell him he was calling from a mobile phone. Cold-blooded. The thing weighed over 2 pounds and took 10 hours to charge for 20 minutes of talk. But that clunky prototype is the great-grandparent of the sleek glass slab you're probably holding right now. Every call you've ever made walking down the street started with one guy, one sidewalk, and one very petty phone call. Number 8, home video games. The entire idea of playing games on your TV came from Ralph Baer, whose Jewish family fled Nazi Germany just before the war and started over in America. He became an engineer, and in the 1960s, he got a strange thought nobody was taking seriously. That television, this box people just passively stared at, could be something you play with. He and his team built a prototype they called the Brown Box. It became the first home video game console, released in 1972, years before the arcade boom. Think about what grew from that. Every console, every controller, a global industry now bigger than movies and music combined. All of it downstream from a refugee who looked at a TV and saw a toy. Not bad for a kid who once had to flee everything he owned. Number 9, the camera phone. Here's the one that quietly rewired how humans share their lives, and it started with a nervous dad in a hospital waiting room. Philippe Kahn, born in Paris to a mother who survived the Holocaust, was waiting for his daughter to be born in 1997. He wanted to send a photo of his newborn to friends and family instantly, which at the time was simply impossible. So, sitting in that waiting room, he jury-rigged it, wired his digital camera to his cell phone, wrote code on the spot, and managed to snap a picture and share it over the network in real time. The first shared camera phone photo in history was of his baby girl, minutes old. Every selfie, every photo you've ever texted, every image posted from a phone ever. It all begins with a dad who couldn't wait to show off his daughter. Number 10, Google, and the biggest one of all. The verb you use a dozen times a day. Google was built by 2 graduate students at Stanford, and one of them, Sergey Brin, was a refugee, born in Moscow, whose Jewish family left the Soviet Union when he was a boy to escape persecution. He and his co-founder, Larry Page, were obsessed with a nerdy question. What if you could rank every page on the web by how many other pages linked to it? That idea became the algorithm. The whole thing runs on. They launched it in 1996 on the Stanford network under a name that was a misspelled math term. Now, it answers billions of questions a day and quietly organizes most of the information on Earth. A 6-year-old refugee who arrived not speaking the language grew up to build the front door to human knowledge. Here's my honest question for you. How many of these did you touch today without ever knowing the story behind them? In my own morning, I already hit the pen, the phone, the search bar, and the little camera on the back of it. For before breakfast, none of this is about who's the smartest. It's about how many invisible hands it takes to build one ordinary day. Count yours and drop the number below.